now, primarily because I really want to see either side on that T side, because things have changed in Overpass in regards to, we've seen a lot more preference of teams going for these very kind of violent and successful kind of force buys. I'll be intrigued to see how these play out.
Well, we are live into the knife, and as much as I do love casting games, I think the knife is a bit of a stretch.
It is a stretch, it is.
Personally, for me, I'd just like to see NIP on the T side, because I want to see how they're going to play as, you know, this team having to take the initiative. And I thought it was one of the new knives then, but it's just a very bland butterfly knife. Yeah, we were saying that it's like a chunky flip knife, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not so sure. But Zipnik's putting the old flip to good use, and they'll be getting to pick sides. So we might actually get to see Nip on that T side. Let's see what TSM go for in the end. I can imagine they'll go CT, but there we go. We'll be seeing the switch around. So TSM will be on the CT side, NIP onto the T side, and I just really want to see how much freedom maybe we get to with Exist, especially what Get Right Now can bring to the table, and who else can find form. Alu could be a big factor here. Orpas seem to have very big games on this. I throw my mind back to Hellraisers with their newer edition coming up big with the AWP, up against Smiths, who then was his hard counter. So these AWP battles go on, and this is going to be a great display, but I believe we are live into this one. So TSM up against NIP, TSM on the CT side, NIP on the T side. Take us away.
So jumping into our first round then, the pistol is about to begin. No blood drawn just yet though, and you can see the buy-up from the CT as they are stacking up a fair few nades. Just one frag, make it two smokes, and the flash in the hands of Cajun B. So slow and steady seems to be the plan for this one. As you can see, the CTs have spread themselves up quite nicely. NIP, however, quite the opposite. Get Right and Alu on either side, and this three-man presence is about to make its way known through Connector.
Yeah, I want to see where they go towards. It looks like it's going to be, well, Get Right there, you'd say it'd be a B, but then again, he could be faking this out almost. Him trying to make a presence here. And, well, Nalu now joining him, going to make up for his deficit. Alu's going to kick this one on for Nip, and they will be making their play towards B. Zipnix is going to be the man waiting to receive. Exist is already coming and gets pinned to the wall by Dupree, and it looks like TSM should have this round, but the bomb is going down. Yeah, so time is going to be of the essence now for those CTs to try and make something happen. Carrigan, no armor, does have the 5-7, not having any of that monkey business. Freiburg picks it up, and now 3v3. Dupree load, does have his armor though. IP looking a little better off in terms of health as the exchange continues. Finally, blood is drawn. It's Zipnik's now down as they continue to pick up frags. TSM put Forest now in the driving seat of the round as they are so low on health. Forest on a pistol, you know this man can go big. Let's see what he's got here. 1v2, the bomb's being held. Big shot coming out there. Takes down Dupree, and now it's just him against Device. He knows it's a fake. Forest playing it to perfection. This man is who you'd want left alive, and you just saw why. Yeah, it was beautiful. It came right down to the wire, right down to those scraps of health TSM were left on. A true team effort, but we do see Ninjas in Pyjamas prevail in round one. Big buy coming up from TSM, though. We're going to be seeing those scouts make an appearance. No surprises there as we're going to go into the second round, and we'll see if NIP can fend off this pretty much half bought up TSM. I'm not sure if I like the new sound of the knife just yet. When I'm getting used to it. It's a little different, isn't it? It takes a little while, but NIP doing kind of what we saw last round. You can see them waiting in towards that kind of lower connector tunnel that can split you towards B, or that long toilet push towards A. And then we've got Get Right lurking over towards the B side, Alu over towards A, and it looks like they're just waiting for picks, seeing if TSM push up, and then slowly working off the back. Exist and Forest starting to head around towards that B side, but this is a little bit of different of approach. We haven't seen Nip being this, patient, waiting for these picks. They were a lot more active previously. Get Right lining up that same smoke, and Cajun B taking matters into his own hands, finding Forest very early on and giving away a little bit of what NIP were up to. Yeah, and giving away an AK as well. That AK is going to, I assume, be scooped up by one of his teammates when they get there. They did opt for the two AKs. Exist as the one to pick that one up, to try and pick up where his teammate left off. Already, though, TSM have rotated nicely. There's 4 CTs lying in wait for this push from NIP, and they're starting to crumble. 2 NIP members remain. Exist and Alu trying to scrape it back, and they do, as it's going to be now a 2v2. Device has finally got himself over there to try and back up KGB as he's been pressured, and they do manage to thrive in the turmoil of that round. We are going to see just 2 NIP members remain, though, as they do retain those AKs. So it was by no means easy, but NIP do manage to fend off the bought-up TSM. That's quite impressive, considering TSM had so many players on towards that B side by the time the play came through. Nip just kind of pulled it back, depending on the likes of Alu and Exist. Maybe a very good indication of what's to come, but still. Looking at the CT side now, not a great deal to work with. TSM going to try and pressure the issue. Alu has been looking for this so far, but it looks like Nip going to start out slightly different here. Maybe expecting a little bit of a different play from TSM.
Good start, though, from dupreeh. P250 is all he needs as he takes down Get Right. Of course, that does give the in-game leader even more knowledge for him to try and manipulate his team. Just the pistols and a MAC-10 for TSM, as I think he got a great deal of intel. Karrigan's confirmed it. There is going to be a T presence down long, and they are ready for it.
Yeah, but the CTs have a lot of players here. Nipnos just needs to bully their way in, and they do. Great kills back-to-back coming in for Nip. The last man alive will be dupreeh, getting a bit of cash then. 2 kills now with that MAC-10. It's going to do wonders for his bankroll. Even getting a molly out of the T side as well. dupreeh here just taking his time. Why not? 1 kill can make a huge difference. But here comes the push, and there's a kill. friberg cleans it up, and Nip pick up 3 rounds back-to-back, which is something actually, funny enough, we don't see that often anymore. The turns are coming in so thick and fast
It feels
now.
weird when your eyebrows are raised when you see 3-0. Yeah. It does feel odd, but it is exactly the kind of case for these games. And now,
the one thing I want to point out is something that we probably wouldn't seen back in, maybe a couple of weeks ago. Get Right not even making an impact yet into those first 3 rounds. So I want to see how that translates now to a gun round. Look at TSM. They are pushing up heavily to gain control over by long A, and then kind of splitting themselves, diverging down towards those line tunnels where 2 players are actually waiting. They're just down the back. This is a lot of control for TSM. They want to really push this issue.
Yeah, quite reminiscent of Fnatic on their CT side. Look at Get Right, though. Opens up, this is his first kill of the game. Let's see if he can find a second, as there is going to be 1 round toilets. Karrigan says no, as now we are once again going to hit a bit of a standstill. The T side kind of a little intimidated by the early presence from TSM, and Forest, Alu, and Exist just making their way down long. The man to receive them will be Device, as he what lurks around in Bank. friberg hungering for this one, as it does seem that Karrigan has pushed forward towards the toilets area. 54 seconds. I wouldn't be surprised if NRP starts trying to... Yeah, friberg is going to go hunting for something on B.
Can't blame him either. You want to be able to at least try out and see if you can find a pick in. Nip seem completely fine with trying to switch these things up. Exist to do a little pop flash through the smoke, and he will take down Karrigan. Great understanding of where Karrigan wanted to play then. And now Device and Xyp9x on towards this A side. Nip are moving in. The wall of smoke comes out. They can still plant that close toilet hold. And look at Forest just trying to hold them back. KGB is there, finding Exist. And 1 by 1, Nip are being found. Alu on towards Device. Forest pushing in. Xyp9x kicks into gear, and the bomb is down a ticket, but Xyp9x says no! Where did he just get that kill on towards Alu? Unbelievable. And he'll get the defuse. That was perfect from Xyp9x, picking up 3 then individually. He just went above and beyond. I didn't even see Alu.
I wrote that round off. I was writing like 4-0 on my piece of paper. He just turns up. Wow. 3 frags for Xyp9x, and the first round for TSM on the board. NIP are going to be a little upset with that one. And that's going to put him in good standings in terms of money. You can see that already. Just the second USP. What is that? He must have just kind of heard Alu and hoped for the best, crossed his fingers, and it paid off. Still,
one of those rounds you can't depend on winning. As you said, we already thought that one was done and dusted, but I guess if you can land a 1 USP little left click through the smoke, anything can change. But now what does that mean for NIP? They've still got enough bank winning those first 3 rounds. They can buy into this. A little bit weaker than wanted. Obviously, friberg there with just the Galil. But TSM are so good at adding this pressure towards A, not allowing much room for Nip here.
friberg does draw blood with that Galil. It's going to be good. Put an AK in his hands. As now, going to be seeing dupreeh fight back. Famas from him. As it is once again, it's just brawl in the toilet area that we're going to be seeing more and more of. Forest does take dupreeh down, but dupreeh took a whole lot of health with him. As Karrigan's going aggressive, just walks through the smoke, balls to the wall, and now Xyp9x elsewhere has leveled the playing field, but this could get very nasty. Karrigan does get spotted out, and just 6 points of health. He realizes that's not a trade he can fight. And he's going to get away from that one. On the other hand, for NIP though, Forest and Exist are slowly but surely creeping their way up long, but they know that their call has been made.
But there's still a great deal of utility towards Nip. They have 3 smokes, a molly in there, and a couple of flashes.
Yeah.
That's enough to work with, but there's this man waiting for them. Xyp9x, perfect flash, just toying with him. He's got Exist just pinned to that wall. He knows he's got that, and that's going to give away the rest of the game. Karrigan can just sit by B and wait it out. He's got KGB to still back him up, and KGB is going to do just that. Watching the push across, friberg needlessly getting caught out, but Forest connects the shot. Now 2v1, Forest has to find his form here as well.
He goes for the fake. He's convinced of a presence in toilets, and that's actually going to be kind of counterintuitive considering the time. Bomb goes in. And now, time is on. Time is of the essence for TSM, I was going to say.
Did he shoot him from underneath then?
It was a headshot. I'm going to say no.
Jesus, that was really weird. Looking at where KGB was, I had no idea how he hit him through that, but Hey ho, Silver. I guess it works out, but yeah. TSM looking good on these gun rounds. The thing is that they push up so well, and then they gain control. They'll probably exchange a couple of kills, but by that point, on the T side, you're already down maybe 1 or 2 players, so that final play towards the site just seems to give it over to TSM. You've got Zipnik still, hanging around there. You've got Carrigan, even though it was so low, just being a presence, and that's enough sometimes. But still, 2-3 right now. Nip are still leading this one out, but that money's going to run out very soon. They need this win.
They need this win very much so. You can see GetRight just the Tech 9 and the full utility. He's hoping to try and formulate a push towards the site without those early casualties that you already mentioned. As they're trying something very different here. You can see they're just splitting 2 for 2 on either site. GetRight going real aggressive, forcing Device back, and Exist and Freiburg on the other side of the map doing exactly the same thing. Let's do pre-lies and wait. They have actually pushed through Connector. They are actually still setting their sights on A, obviously feeling that B is just not going to work for them as of yet. The only time we saw NIP on B was in that pistol round. The full 5-man squad. You said this before, that those early picks were really favouring the CTs. None of them have come in just yet, and this could be the first successful round if NIP play this right. Look
how many players are already on A for TSM. They have so much presence here. Device getting a little bit too far forward, maybe a bit too confident then. Pushing and going to have to be reminded that he's got to fall back. But we've got Dupree this time on the side. Zipnix is still actually around as well. Dupree finds Forest. This is a worrying time. They're not getting into these sites too easily, and TSM have so much control here, so much presence, and finally they're breaking in though. Alu takes down Device, weakening this site eventually, but as said, still Zipnix, still Dupree, and still so much work to do for the T side.
Yeah, the bomb is loose now. Zipnix levels it out. Freiburg down, and Exist, he's worse for wear as well. This could go real south for them fast. It is. As now all onto Alu, 2 to find. Both of these players remaining for TSM have picked up 2 already. As Alu stalking away. Dupree hasn't moved for the entirety of this round. He doesn't need to when he's picking up 3 frags, and 3 vital frags for his team as he manages to pick that one up. 3-3 the scoreline, and that's just a prime example of TSM letting NIP come to them, and that's like the other side of the coin for TSM CT side.
It's a worrying display. Nipper yet to pick up a gun round. It's the kind of bigger factor here, isn't it? It's great that you get the 3 pistol back-to-back and you kind of take control of it that way, but they still need more of an impact than this, and we're seeing that kind of forced-up Tech 9 buyout, where you just got a lot of armor with it and you just kind of play off the back, and Zipnix is already hopping over, keeping control. You can kind of see mid pretty well as well. And they're switching up positions. Zipnix was completely dedicated towards A. Now he's going to head over, play kind of towards that B side, a little bit more towards Connector. But they're so good at just kind of stacking out when they need to. Vice then just going to drop down a nade. And this should be a clean round coming in for TSM. Already having 4 players on this side. Actually, tell a lie. Alu has none of that, but Dupree just connecting shot after shot. NIP is struggling to break in at all. And look, as soon as you take down 1, there's someone straight back there. Carrigan just not allowing any kills to come back to back for NIP. There's no trade frags here for NIP. They are just going down 1 by 1.
And Dupree is a pleasure to watch at this moment. I mean, he quite literally just positions in the most predictable position for NIP, but there's nothing they can do about it. They can smoke him out, but he seems to be picking him up through float, flash, and smoke. Doesn't really matter, as we are once again going to be seeing weapons in the hands of NIP, and we still haven't seen a successful round. Now weapons are in both teams' hands.
And the thing I want to look at now is how can NIP use this utility? How can they put this to work? Because look at TSM again. As soon as they're on a gun round, as soon as they know NIP's on a gun round, they get up in their face and they just, zero respect play, you know what I mean? They want to challenge, they want to put them off kilter. They don't allow map control, and it could be Freiburg and Exist in trouble here. Actually, no, tell a lie. Dupree does go down, but leaves it in the control of Carrigan, and he just kicks them back into place. And this is a real problem. If they cannot gain control anywhere on the map, they're going to just struggle throughout this T side. Yeah, TSM, that positioning was so nice and connected. They wanted to play for the trade. They got it. Carrigan got more than he bargained for, though, with the double. Trey's not complaining as GetRight fluffing his flash. Probably going to be a little bothered by that one. I'm just glad we watched it,
I'm just glad we caught it, yeah, exactly. Everyone makes mistakes, and that's a prime example. KGB catches the heels of GetRight to pick that one up as well. Zipnix gathering intel with the little jump. That's going to mean that the whereabouts of Forest unknown. And Ali's just going on a bomb retrieval mission at this point, as it looks like Forest is going to try and cut the CT numbers down to size. TSM, though, it feels very, very hard to break in at this point. You can See Device just playing it so very safe, just gathering enough information for the frag, and Alu is going to be the last man standing. He is going to be meeting a similar fate any second now. He does. No respect, just the USP from Device to secure that round. 5-3 then the score, and NIP are once again going to have a pretty shoddy economy.
Yeah, and look at this play.
Look at Carrigan, so smart.
And I love it, he just waited in, and he knew that, hey, dupreeh may go down, but I will probably have then the surprise. Carrigan just doing the damage when required, and that's all he had to do. And TSM's bank is just flourishing. They have everything they need. They've got the AWP in play, they've got every single molly they'd want to be able to be utilized, and that's more time that TSM can buy. Nip, though, going to switch it up, heading straight in down towards that B-bomb site. Cajun he's ready and waiting, and there's a lot of people lined up there. I think Alu actually took damage off the back of that as well. Xyp9x just flashed out for a second, going to just lock down that cross towards side, but Cajun doesn't need help. He can do it all alone, and he almost does. Forest last man standing, going to be swept aside as well. And TSM look far superior here. Putting it this way, if Nip aren't able to pick up at least another pistol round on their CT side, they are absolutely screwed.
I think that's a very non-sugar-coated summary. You're absolutely right. And I think Cajun nearly got a collateral there. I'm pretty sure he like clipped the legs of Alu.
I know you're meant to be a codcaster, Alex, but geez, this would have just sent us wild. Look at this. Why would you line up for an opportunity like that? He does. He takes Alu down to 20.
Yeah. Either way, back into another gun round. No AWP though for NIP yet, as their economy is continuing to be shattered. And look how aggressive the CTs are being. You see dupreeh alongside Device just pushing so high up. Alu's going to be there to receive them though, as he does gather. I think he only saw one though. I think he only saw one.
And I love this position with dupreeh. It's something we saw coming out with him and Carrigan. Carrigan was the one tucked into the side, but they'll bait out one player, hoping Alu will commit for him, and then you'll have dupreeh waiting. But Alu just connects the shot perfectly. dupreeh goes down, they get some control of A long, but now what do TSM do? Do they fall back to site? Do they stay out a little longer? They've still got a minute. They can buy so much time with this. 2 mollies still there, loads of smokes. They're still pretty good in this one.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a real good observation you've made about just how aggressive TSM and Fnatic, like 2 teams I've seen be successful on Overpass, play it. They go aggressive, they try and take a pick, there's no harm in it, then fall back to the side. We are going to be seeing a pick exchange though as Freiburg connects through the wall onto Xyp9x. So, 4v3. Doing what Cajun does best. Surely not going to get another one. He shouldn't. He's picked up 2 already. He finds a 3rd. Could it be a 4th? Oh, it was a no-scope. It did hit as well. And I need to stop getting so excited. Alu, last man standing, picks up another one though. This has been 2. Not going to happen as Carrigan just shows up. 7-3.
You know what? I don't think you need to stop being excited. Cajun is playing beautifully at the moment. His positioning, understanding how they wanted to push him, he bought just enough time. Not enough to, you know, scope in, but to hit that little no-scope, not going to quite get the frag off the back, though.
That's the worst feeling. Where you're like, I actually hit him.
I have to make this shot now.
I actually hit him, though. 7-3 the score. And I want to just, let's tail Cajun and just see what he's doing so right. As we are going to be seeing NIP once again desperate. Look at the lack of nades on it. Get right in Freiburg. And
bearing in mind, Nip haven't been going to be all that much. They haven't been hitting it all that much. Recently, they've put about 2 or 3 rounds into it, excluding the pistol at the start where they certainly toyed with it. Cajun has been finding these kills, going hunting for them. He's not had them on the plate like you could argue maybe Xyp9x has had, or maybe Device, whoever's been playing on that A site where Nip have been focused. So for Cajun to achieve this, it's quite impressive already. But now let's look what maybe Nip can do. TSM haven't pushed out as far. They've not gone for that massive amount of map control towards long yet. dupreeh is edging into it, and this could catch Nip out. If they don't think he's still going to be here, that smoke will allow him to try and funnel those Nip players through, unless they risk walking through that smoke, which Freiburg might just do.
This is thinking about it, catches dupreeh. That's nice. That's Exist. Being given the freedom. Freiburg finds another. This is looking much better for NIP. Are we going to be seeing the first successful gun round? Don't speak too soon. Carrigan's turned up and he's looking for blood. Picked up a double. Finally, Forrest is there to respond, but Xyp9x just takes his place. They're like turrets, these boys. The Danish turrets now. Just looking for one more man. It's going to be Alu as he has made his way into the site, and I never write Alu off in a round like this. In a situation like this, his health does tell one side of the story. He's just hungering for Cajun to peak, but TSM just seems so disciplined when they need to be.
Crossfire. They have it sorted. Yes, he can maybe plant towards toilets, but he can go nowhere else. Cajun locks it down, and Nip are being outplayed right now. TSM are just so good on that CT side. Whether they're aggressive, whether they're passive, You just can't get past one without the other being ready and waiting. You saw it then. They opened up the site. Great. All right, let's start trying to get some control. And then you've got Karrigan. He was the guy just in front of Xyp9x. Xyp9x isn't even the front line. He was like the third guy to try and defend that site. That's so much power.
They seem so aggressive at the start, then so disciplined at the mid game. That's so good to see from TSM. Double AWP now, this time Device has picked up the second. We're seeing what he can do with it. KGB, his compadre in the AWPing role, is going to be trying to do something, and he does it time and time again. Tech9's going to be flooding the site though, and the smokes as well as NIP are going to successfully get a plant down. One of the most successful pistol rounds we've seen for them other than the first, as the bodies are going to continue to drop, and Forest is going to be not long for this world, I think, as 5 CTs are all honing in on his whereabouts. There he goes, and they are going to be picking that defuse up. The 9th round now on the board for TSM, and you said Ninjas in Pyjamas need to step it up, and they need to pick up every single last round if they want to be respectable.
And I haven't seen them even trying to, you know, switch up late round. It's just kind of, they'll take the time to start, which is perfectly fine, and they're doing okay at the beginning. It's just that late game, they seem to go all in, and considering TSM are pretty much stacking these sites by late game,
yeah,
I'm surprised they haven't tried to, you know, fake it out a little more, try and switch it up a bit, and try and, you know, maybe leave the bomb on its own, or maybe just with one other, but I'm not sure. Maybe NiP are just trying things out, trying to find some sort of comfort zone here, because they're certainly not there yet. And maybe this is just taking its toll a little bit. They're looking like they're going back to what they used in their first pistol round. Get right over by B, Alu lurking around, you know, close A push, and the rest just trying to get control of those tunnels. But Karrigan's there, and actually that flash coming out, I think that's from Exist. Caught Freiburg out worse than expected and sends him back packing with a little bit less health. So get right, getting a good bit of work done towards Cajun. That could open up the site towards B. Maybe not.
Maybe not. TSM really just, you cannot underestimate them at this point. As Molly dropped out from Karrigan, that's actually not necessarily just to put much damage out, just to delay the T side as much as he can. You can see they are starting to create a presence on long, and Device shuts them down this time. These boys just seem on point, on form, no matter what weapons in their hands. As now the 3 NIP players that do remain are going to be pretty I don't want to say in a sticky situation, but there's very little that they can do. They sometimes struggle when they had 5v5 and a push on towards the site. Now 4 members of TSM are stacked on towards that A site, and NIP realize that this is going to be a very rough 30 seconds.
And let's bear in mind, if TSM pick up this win, they're going to go tied on points with Fnatic. That'll be a huge increase in this league for these lads. So let's see if they can lock this one down. Again, it looks like NiP wants to test the likes of Dupree, likes of Xyp9x and Karrigan. But look how many there are here for TSM. The bomb's finally gone down, which is great. And this is the first time we're going to have to see TSM work for this plant. But by now, the numbers are certainly in their favor, but there's still Forest. He's still got 6 HP, and he's still fighting. Cajun B goes down. Him and Freiburg have to go against the odds here.
He's going to be so close to doing it. He took a big chunk out of one, but Freiburg, they know where he is. Time is of the essence, though, as they're going to be trying to get the defuse in. You need to peek now. Freiburg is not expecting Dupree so close. Another for TSM, and this is getting crazy. 17 on the board for Xyp9x as well at the top of the score. Sorry, Xyp9x, as he did tell us, but he's always going to be Xyp9x in my books. And I blame Anders for that entirely. Damn you, Anders. Either way.
To be fair, I think it's just by now, you know what I mean? Like, by now, surely he would have said, like, guys, come on, like, you're
we know you're Xyp9x, but you've been Xyp9x for so long. I'm sorry. that's my response.
Ooh, we're finally seeing the double AWP come out as well, Alu and Forest.
Okay.
Really glad to see Forest actually on the AWP. He started to really feature this in Cash when they started doing the double AWPs on the T side, and you'll see why. He's generally pretty on point, but actually missing that one, and KGB gets away.
And KGB is going to be really lucky with that one. I mean, that's not something that's going to happen every time. Shouldn't happen any time, let's be honest. Because now they are presenting themselves. This is the first time we've seen NIP pay too much attention to this B site with weapons, especially with double AWP. And let's see how this one shapes up. He's holding the perfect angle, just catches the shoulder of one. Not going to be able to take him down, though. As NIP, their health bars have been whittled away, and these flashes are brilliant. Look at this, Karrigan's going to peek, and he knows exactly what he needs to do. Catches one, backs away, and NIP, they're operating at a loss here.
There's nothing they can do, surely. Freiburg exists, Forest still so low. Karrigan gets flashed up. Good push towards the side. They've got some control. But there's still Device, there's still Dupree, and Cajun B.
God.
Finally, one of those massive threats goes down. It's into a 2v2. 40 seconds remain. Bomb isn't put down. Forest has it. He's just trying to find out where these guys are. But do they expect Device? He's been waiting. He's been lurking. And he can make the difference. And it looks like he's going to do it. Takes down Freiburg. Now Forest 1v2. He knows he's in trouble. He knows where Device is. But he's got to deal with Dupree. These two playing so well. 25 seconds now. Forest trying to draw out one, trying to get him back in this. Fakes it, switches up, he knows he's going to be pushed, but doesn't expect Device to be lurking below still. And this is just a real credit to how good TSM are.
This is a pleasure to watch. This is really a great demonstration of what TSM, or sorry, what you can do on CT side Inferno. Inferno, really, Alex? I'm just changing the map here.
Are you okay?
A CT side Inferno. Yeah, really good example.
TSM probably are really good on their CT side Inferno.
Let's try CT Overpass. Let's just try that one.
Nice.
We'll jump on in to the final round of the half. And we'll see if Ninjas in Pyjamas can just please secure one weapon round. They have AKs in their hands, not too many nades to be spoken for. And we'll see what they can do with the given utility. Freiburg has managed to gather some control alongside Exist, though they've got connector early. And Forest is considering it. They're literally kissing through the smoke. Thrust spot the feet. Oh my god, Carrigan just picking up two. Device snatching Alu's life away from him, and now just two for the NIP. Freiburg and Get Right, and this was their last chance of a round on T. And TSM are looking fantastic. 4 of the 5 times these guys met recently, in most recent results, we saw TSM pick up the victory, and we're starting to see why.
TSM are playing just perfectly right now. Gerai is the last man standing, and he will be put to bed by Cage and B. So we are now switching over sides, and I think this is just a real credit to how good TSM have become. They are such impact players. Every single member of their team then was just so crisp. 12-3, NiP did not win one single gun round. After the initial 3 they picked up off the back of the pistol, nothing beyond that. That's just absolute domination from TSM. And really, now TSM are on this sort of verge. NiP needs this pistol round. If they don't get it, they're screwed. And Carrigan, even this spot, and I love that sort of play, because when you're in that position, you get to see those feet just poking out under that smoke just that second before. But still, there's nothing wrong with NIP, it seems. They don't seem to be playing awfully themselves. It's just TSM are so much better on that CT side.
It's kind of difficult to see NIP, like a way NIP could have felt like got into that site. Like everything they tried made sense on paper. Everything they tried could have been successful. The picks weren't in their favor, that has to be said. Cajun B was on fire on that B site. Like, I mean, excuse me, sorry, yeah, on the B site, because he was constantly present. Like, no matter what time you choose to pick, god damn, he just seems to have an idea of where NIP are all the time. And that's just one individual. Device was picking up on long.
And Zipnix, every time they went towards A, Zipnix wasn't just playing A, he'd been supporting on B, watching that mid push. He was the guy like hopping up and down the little boost spot just to see if anyone was pushing up towards B. And then he'd instantly rotate, join the likes of Carrigan. Carrigan would kind of move up, play close to the push towards site. And it's like, if you killed one member of TSM, there'd be 2 others just waiting to see if you take any sort of ground off the back. So really, NiP just didn't quite have the impact to get towards the late part of the site. So they barely got bomb plants in. They got a couple here and there, but none deep in towards the site, because there's always players still alive. There's always members still up for TSM. But this map, you could argue, does slightly favor a CT-sided team, I guess. You know, so maybe we just need to see what NiP can bring. Yeah,
it favors a CT side. It doesn't 12-3 favor a CT side.
That's the point.
Said,
I'm trying to find silver lining, Alex. Come on. But no, it is down to this now. It's how much has NiP got for their CT side? Because TSM historically, I guess, under a different reign, under a different in-game leader, were always good on that CT side, but always poor on T. With the new in-game leaders coming, with the new players kind of being adjusted, when Carrigan stepped in, they've just kind of become this well-rounded, beautiful machine that can operate so well on both sides. So I think NiP are in a little bit of trouble here. Yeah,
and the point I want to reiterate, I actually made it in-game, I just want to kind of really push that, is that TSM on their CT side was so, it's basically exactly the same, the carbon copy of Fnatic on the CT side, where Olof and his cronies, I think it's Crims actually, just pushes up aggressively.
I've never heard Crims being referred to as a crony. The best support player arguable in the world.
And his crony.
Wow. Nice one, Alex.
Either way, Olof and Crims usually just go hyper-aggressive. Chances are they'll get a pick up towards Connector or towards Fountain, then just disappear off back into the sites, crawl back into their holes, and then they get super, really tight cross angles? Crossfires is the word I'm looking for. And that's when the frags... That's when the frags come home. I'm going to start talking a lot slower, so I just don't dig myself into holes with cross angles and DE Inferno. I was talking about Inferno at one point. Either way, we're into our second half.
It's been a long weekend, guys.
12-3,
you know what I mean?
the scoreline. Can NIP secure this round? And it could not be any more crucial.
I think you've summed it up perfectly. This has a lot of value and a lot of weight to it. And looking at TSM's purchases, 2 players with a great amount of utility, CajunB and Carrigan, with all the smokes and flashes. The other 3, Xyp9x, dupreeh, and Device, going to be the impact players. And while Forest, probably the one player you don't want up against you, is going to spot them out first. And let's prove as to why. Come on, Forest, just connect one more shot. Only getting down CajunB, but getting a great deal of information. But then again, TSM have now shown, okay, we're looking towards A, but will they commit off the back here? Will they actually push the issue? Xyp9x just being cautious of the back. Get Right already waiting here. The bomb is towards the toilets. They are starting to push up that long A approach. But 3 players will receive them. Perfect flash comes in. Get Right pushes up. And this is going to have to be proving time. Get Right going down is not a good start.
Oh, and that's even better for Team SoloMid. Device shows up with 1, and now Alu and Exist going to be hungering for another, and it's going to be actually Carrigan who shuts that dream down. Exist, the last man standing, and NIP have really run out of chances really in this game.
And that will just seal the deal. Device picking up 4 in a hugely important round towards NIP. But I think the thing there is, even though Device did do brilliantly, there was a lot of TSM members still alive. And I want to point out the scoreboard right now. Something that people wouldn't have been expecting to see maybe prior to now is Get Right sitting so down low. 2-16. This performance is not really good enough, even for an in-game leader. And I hate that we're going to have to refer to it as that, because that's the biggest change to him as an individual right now. It's not good. He needs to be above and beyond this, and maybe he's just not quite in form right now, maybe not so comfortable just yet.
Oh. The point we made before was that, you know, the only 2 kind of chances that he's had to kind of sit in the in-game leader role was against Mousesports and Penta. Now against TSM, his leading's being tested, and at the moment, it isn't going to plan. You have to understand that, you know, this is something that takes time, and I'm sure NIP do. They're always a team that really have a great understanding of each other as individuals, and that's really aggressive from NIP. We do see Xyp9x go down, and Get Right was looking to try and pick something off the back of that. Not going to happen just yet. CajunB lies in wait and picks up Get Right with the 5-7. And now dupreeh just looking to rattle out some damage. NIP, they are really just hungering for something from TSM as the bomb goes in.
Certainly does. CajunB, dupreeh, and Device looking to hold on. They've got the weapons. And they do have the positions. And well, at the moment, they're getting the kills. Forest the only one to make a dent into this. And he needs to go for it. There's no 2 ways about it. He's got to get in there. Does the jump across. All that surfing's paying off perfectly. But sadly, the gun work going to be denied by dupreeh. Picking it up with the big Mac Daddy. And actually, is he sticking with the Mac 10? Yeah, he is. Why not?
Yeah.
He got some dollar bills off the back of it. 4.3k coming in. And the rest can just kind of arm themselves with AKs. But TSM just playing so well. You know, they don't look challenged at the moment. I think they need that time in between. And I think we'll have to wait and see what they can bring later down the line, because at the moment, they're not quite there.
Most definitely, or let's say not on Overpass. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know...
They probably even haven't had a chance to do this together as a team.
I wouldn't be surprised if Get Right's probably got a whole lot of kind of things in his mind for other maps. This one, probably not going to jump to the forefront of his brain. We'll see, though. This Device looking for something along, and there's going to be a lot there. It's going to be like whack-a-mole if he just... Oh, the head pops up and Exist does get bopped. Looking for another one, though, as he's going to look towards the box. And, oh, Alu does respond with the P250. It's actually the P2K, excuse me. As now this 4v4 is about to get very, very scary for the CTs as they begin their swarm on towards the B site. And it's going to be a wide open site. They're going to be shaking their heads like, wait, what? Where are they? Where are they?
Oh, and dupreeh's in such a good spot.
Oh, even closes the door, like, nope.
They can boost and peek through the window at least, but...
Surely you'll see him. Yep. Oh.
You can molly through doors as well. That's not going to make things any easier. Well, this has gone...
South?
South, I think, is a good word here.
Yeah.
Yep. I just don't think are ready for this map. I think you summed it up well, that if you're going to come into a new formation, let's say, or a new formula of a team, maybe this isn't one of their priorities. Maybe this hasn't quite been polished yet, but it's a long way off from being perfect right now, and TSM look really solid. Yeah,
TSM just seem to be really, like, everything, both on their CT and now T side, seems to be very restrained, very much kind of playing as they should. They're not going crazy. They're not kind of enjoying the win. They're playing as TSM should play, and it's really evident in that result. 15-3 the score as we dive into potentially the final round. NIP do have weapons in their hands, but that hasn't stopped TSM in the past.
As I said, this will put TSM up in the top 3. This is a very big place for them. This win will mean a lot. This is going to be a massive move up. And well, with such a brilliant scoreline to boot, the round difference is very much going to be in their favor. So now looking at this one, TSM just going to go for the cleanup. Forrest and Alu going to push up a touch by A. And Forrest just looking over the smoke, seeing if he can spot anyone out. But Device already passed Karrigan just around the corner. Forrest going to lay in towards Karrigan. Perfectly done, but not good enough. Overextending beyond and has no backup. Alu had already backed away. And the 1-for-1 exchange doesn't really gain them much.
Yet, we'll see. Alu can win on that 1v1. Not going to happen. Dupree was there and Device as well. NIP are just falling apart at the seams as Exist and Freiburg are the two remaining members, desperately hungering to keep this game alive. TSM 2 frags away from a 16-3 victory. HB finds one. All now onto Freiburg. He's down courtesy of Device, and TSM have done it and done it in